Hey everybody, this is Stressful Training's Recess WOD for Wednesday, April 1st. Hey, it is not an April Fool's joke. Okay, it is not an April Fool's video, I promise. Although a good joke to play on your kids for the recess workout is telling them they're doing 100 burpees for time or something like that. That'll get them going. So here's what we're going to do today. We have a couple different parts. Warm up, a skill portion, and then a sweaty portion at the end with lots of movement. So I'm going to bring you close so you can see what's going on. So we have a warm up to the left, skill portion to the right up top, and a sweaty portion down at the bottom right corner. Okay, a little bit of limbo, some junkyard dog, some ground to overhead skill, and then lots of movements, jumping, shuffles, and hopping. Alright, so for warm-up, fairly straightforward. You're going to grab a limbo stick and then two objects to hold the stick, or you can hold the stick yourself and have your child come through. We're just going to do 4 successive rounds of limbo, starting with a high bar and then gradually working down lower. Okay, so four different levels. Key tips for limboing, okay, is extending back so the chest faces the ceiling as much as you can, and then as you get progressively lower, you're widening your base of support, so widening your feet, and then bending your knees and pushing them out to the side as you push your hips forward and your chest backwards. Okay? So you can get progressively lower that way. Then after our limbo, we're gonna go to do junkyard dog. So you need 2 people for junkyard dog. So we're gonna be down on the floor. Okay? This person on the ground is gonna hold their hands out to the side. Okay, you're going to base the height off of how tall the other person who's jumping over your hands is. So some people will need this tall, some people will need that tall. Okay, so you're gonna hold this position, hold here. If you want to challenge yourself and rock back and hold that position, okay, you can do it that way. Person who's jumping will be jumping over the hand, over the feet, and then over the hand and arm again. 5 circles. Okay, and then we'll switch who's on the ground and who's jumping, do 5 more circles. Then the second part of junkyard dog is in a plank position. You will be planking. Person will jump over your feet. Then you're going to come up into a down dog. Okay, it's helpful to be on your toes. The person will crawl underneath after they've jumped over you in plank, and then they will come back to plank. They will jump over, and you will repeat that for, again, 5 times through. Then we'll do another full round of the jumping, 5 circles. We'll just switch directions this time, and then the plank to down dog, jumping over, crawling through. Okay, so again, two rounds, or 2 rounds of 5 circles. Then we're going to go to our skill work for today, which is your ground to overhead movement. So you will need to find a stick outside. Okay, this should be a stick that is probably long, probably about, I would say, waist or shoulder height, depending on how tall the kid is. This is shoulder height. That works for me. I'm 5'10", so I would say if kid was at my waist, that would work well. Or as long as their body. Okay, that way you have enough room. It shouldn't be very heavy, but it should be free of any branches on the stick shaft. So our ground to overhead movement today, we're going to take a wide grip on the stick so that your elbows are straight. Okay? And we are going to place it on the bottom of our shins. So what we need to do with this movement is make sure our hips are below our shoulders. One way to cue this for your child is to show you their logo in front. So let's say I have like a Superman logo or a logo of a high school or middle school. I want that logo to face forward or face you if you're standing in front of them versus the ground. So it's going to look like this. Okay, so logo up and forward. Okay. Not all the way up forward, but just at least facing that way versus facing directly down towards the ground. So logo up, and then we're gonna bring the stick to our hips and stand tall. And that's step one. Step two is gonna be bending the knees and the hips, and then jumping and catching the bar and punching it overhead. So it looks like this. Jump, punch the sky. Okay, cue them to punch the sky so they punch their elbows straight and press it towards the ceiling. Not backwards, just up towards the sky. So again, one more time. Bend the hips and knees so you're nice and straight, and then jump, punch. Okay. So if we put them all together, we're gonna bring the bar to our waist, jump, punch. Okay. So it's important that we keep our logo facing forward and then that we punch the sky. Now, if the coordination part for that is too difficult or the teaching becomes too difficult, what we can do is we can just focus on the jumping aspect. So I'm bending the hips and the knees, hands are back. I'm going to jump as high as I can, jump, and then land, catching myself with bent knees and bent hips. And then reset, down, jump, then catch. So you can give them the analogy of if you were to throw them an egg, okay, you want to catch the egg by giving with it versus stiff arm. So when I land, I don't want to be stiff through the legs. I want to land softly by bending the knees and hips at the same time. So whether you're going to use the ground to overhead movement or the jumps, you're going to take that and then put it into our sweaty portion for our recess workout for today. So the sweaty portion is 5 minutes on the clock. You're going to accumulate as many rounds of this body of work, 5, 5, 10, as you can. So again, one round is 5, 5, 10. So the movements are 5 lengths between 2 objects, hopefully 2 sticks of lateral shuffles. So between stick 1, I will shuffle, 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 get to stick 2, that's 1, shuffle back to stick 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and so on. Once I'm done 5, I'm going to do either 5 ground to overhead with the stick or 5 broad jumps between the sticks. So if you practice jumping, jump and land, and broad jump your way forward to the other stick. Once you get to the other stick, you do 10 hops over the stick sideways. I would recommend going sideways versus forward and backwards, because if the stick rolls and you catch it on your heel, you're probably going to slip and fall. So it's best to do it sideways. You can maybe get a little spin in there if you want to be a little fancy, that's fine. So those are the movements, 5, 5, and 10. You're going to again go through as many times as you can in 5 minutes. You can take rest where you want it. Okay? So if you get a little tired, you want to take a little break in there, that's okay. That is okay. So that is the recess workout for today. Get outside, have some fun with it, and enjoy